Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Don't Argue here. Yes, this is your host. I'm here to give you guys my thoughts on Fremantle as we took down the Eagles. I was actually pretty surprised. Look, there's probably lots to dive into, but then at the same time, you probably shouldn't. I think one of the things I wasn't really pleased about was having Schofield there sort of commentate. And look, for me personally, the last thing you want to hear in this is somebody's opinion that differs from yours, particularly when it's from an Eagle standpoint. I'm not saying that I don't like different opinions, but when it comes to the Eagles for everything, miss me or that, you know what I mean? But yeah, look, first things first, man. Just obviously, as we sort of prep into round one, we sort of just want to, for lack of a better word, I think we just want to sort of experiment, I guess. You know, obviously with Fife sort of still out injured, trying to get in for round one, which would be really good. You have other players, you know, for example, your Fredericks, your Crotons, you know what I mean, your Youngs, beautiful game, your Sarongs, and then you've got your Brendan Cox and all those type of players there. Again, those players, they were just trying to, I think, you know, like I said, gel in, mix. My overall thoughts on the game before the bounce was I was a bit nervous, obviously. Even though it's a preseason, it still doesn't mean anything, right? You really want to go in there and just try to win. I think primarily it's a pretty obvious thing. But I think one sort of point for me was just how are we going to really go, I guess. How are we really going to go, particularly with a young squad? Granted, none of our draftees did play, right? But maybe they may next game, I'm not too sure. But I'm insane that it was just about to, it was just how are we going to go? So obviously in the first bounce, the first quad, I watched that. I was actually, for lack of a better word, surprised, I guess. Probably use that, surprised. I was actually, very shocked. I mean, we start off sort of hot off the gate. Obviously, Eagles gold, we gold two was a very quick exchange. And then I suppose afterwards, it was just Freo from there on in. Frederick, as well, to his credit, played a very superb game. Sarong, the work he does, far out. He is such a brilliant player. You got to really take your hat off to somebody like him, who not only plays out of his skin, but plays like he's a future leader. Now, we all know Brayshaw's coming to his own, and to be fair with you, he's probably just because he got drafted, a year or two, before, you're going to have to give him captaincy. I understand that. But I'll tell you what, you wouldn't be remiss if you actually picked Sarong to be captain. There's just something about him. There's just this quality about this guy that just yells volumes of leadership, and the way he carries himself on the field is just second to none almost, I think. Now, enough of the praise there, but I mean, defensively as well, Pierce at the back there was superb. Logue as well. Players were just so, they were on fire. There's not much there to describe apart from the fact that we defended. Now, again, obviously, we're going to talk about the goals too. You had Lob, you had Tabner in there, you had Frederick, as mentioned. You have even Clark as well, Jordan Clark. He is worth that trade as well. FYI, he's worth that trade. Then you had a bit of that Will Brody as well in there. Bailey Banfield, how good is it to see him come into the squad? I mean, there were times there when he was out for long extended periods of time because of form, right? And then you just see him sort of come back and basically nail that position, which was so good to see. I think overall as well, when you look at the squad too, it's a squad that played well without Fife. Now, granted, again, you can't take away too much from this, to be fair. I don't mean to be a party pooper, but you really can't. I mean, obviously, it's preseason, and to be fair with you, the Eagles, they, like us, we didn't have our best side. They didn't too, but, things happened for them, and maybe they were deliberately playing to not really play at all. I don't know. Some people say they have a witch's hat, right, against us. Remember that time in 2018, I remember that was the first time I followed Freo. That's the first time I followed AFL, full stop, and I was following Freo. I watched that trial match and we flogged them by quite a high mark. I think it was about 80 plus points, I believe. And obviously they went on to win the premiership, which sucked, the Eagles. So again, I'm not taking too much out of this. But in saying that, the signs are there. All right, I'm not saying let's go get goody. The signs are there. It's a positive thing to build on. Honourable mentions as well to Mitch Croton, who I think, in an article there on Freo Dockers, they talk about how he relished his time in the midfield, and to be fair, he was really good. Like, damn, dude, he was good. Liam Henry as well played his part. It was just a game where everybody gelled well. like I said, with these preseason games as well, you just want to see if training amounts to anything. Right? If they're practiced, if they're time dedicated to honing their craft, dedicated to being able to get back in the eight, if that means, if it bears any fruit, and it did, you know, maybe the Eagles were playing a bit silly there and they let us look like we were kings. I'm not too sure, but granted, I don't think anyone plays a game of footy to lose, and if you do, it's the wrong sport to play. So it's one of those things where you take it for what it is and you just run with it. You build on it. Justin Longmuir does have a game plan. I can see what it is. But no, it was actually really good. It was fun to watch. It was fun to watch. There's no real complaints there. Jordan Clark as well. That missile, bloody, 50 meter outside the 50 goal. Jeez, man, that's so handy, isn't it? That's handy. And if we can get more straight kickers than just Michael Frederick, I told you guys in one of my other prior videos, not that there's much there posted, but bear with me, there will be, just how good of a player he will be this year. And I believe he's going to be arguably the best draft pick we've had when you talk about the fact that he was in the 60s. I think he was like, 62, 63? I think he was picked, and he was in the 60s or 50s. But it was a high pick, and look at the way he's playing. Obviously, you got the likes of Brandon Walker too, who can just slot right in there as well, next to Frederick. But I think things are looking okay. Obviously, people are perhaps either being cautious or saying we're not going to really amount to much, but hey, that's fine, that's on them. But I understand that at Freo, with that, that plan that they're talking about, that Simon Garlick revealed, a few months ago, that talks about their 5-year plan with Freo. It's obviously a plan that they're taking seriously, and you just don't throw out a plan like that to have it not to have it not sort of come to pass. It's a big call, to be fair. 4 more years to try and win a premiership. It's a big call. But if there's ever a group of fellas there that can collectively do it and collectively bring the grind, it's them. You got to remember, we got Nat Fyfe there. He's looking like a bloody, I don't know, like a friggin', I don't know, I'm lost for words there, right? But he's just looking like an absolute don. He looks so good. Physically, oh goodness, I'm telling you now, man, Fyfe for Brownlow, stuff it. Fyfe for Brownlow. But look, with footy, we all know that form. Oh, just quickly before I go into that. But overall, it's a good game. I'm not going to complain. 141 points to 44. It's great. It's a building block. Let's not get too happy, though. Stuff what Will Schofield said at the end, I don't want to hear him anymore, that rubbish. But Freo fans, we should get excited. We should be happy. We should praise those who need to be praised. We should probably look at those and probably encourage those who need to be encouraged in the team. But I think overall, it's just a beautiful game. It's a game where if you wanted something to go perfect, that was it. But unfortunately, like I said, it's preseason. Obviously, we got the scratch match again next week, and then things happen, and then there'll be we take on Adelaide, right? We take on the Crows, and FYI, I will be in Adelaide. Don't argue with me in Adelaide. I live in South Australia, so I'll be going to that game there. Obviously, I'm not going to miss it for the world. I absolutely want to be there along the other Freo troops and cheer on the boys as we take on the Crows. And bear with me because I'll be following Freo Dockers throughout the season, giving you guys my pre-game thoughts, right, analysis, and then give you guys my post-game. And at the same time as well, giving you guys my tips. That's where I am primarily. I'm not going to do too much content besides that stuff. I think it's pretty fleshed out. Beyond me, you've got the other guys like Druzy, who do a bit of stuff there, and then you got the other content creators as well. But yeah, Druzy's one to watch. I like Druzy, obviously Freo Dockers, bro. So up the Dockers. But yeah, look, I'll be there, and if you're South Australian Freo fan, or if you're somebody who's going to the game, please let's catch up. It'd be great. But look, and saying that I'm a nobody for now anyway. Eh? I do have another channel, but it's another sport. But in saying that anyway, so like I said, with footy, going back to it. Footy is a sport that obviously you have all your predictions, and form is such a beautiful thing we love to ride on because form does not lie. Numbers don't lie. North Melbourne were good. They won the premiership. End of story. The numbers don't lie. But sometimes in footy, things can just happen randomly. Like it just doesn't make sense, and it does happen. So yes, I'm not saying let's get happy and jovial and we'll win it all, or be in the top 8 or whatever. But I'm not also saying to be down on our haunches because we won't be able to make the top 4. Like just obviously the reality is, right, like I said, the reality is the form is Freo. Maybe we'll make the 8. I'm not sure. Right? But the other end is have faith in the boys, right? Have faith. And don't be too surprised. I mean, maybe a little bit, but don't be too surprised if we do get more successful as the months go. In saying that, I may say that, and it's a car crash season, touch glass in this case, but you know what I mean. Anyway, give me your thoughts. I thought it was a great outing by the boys. There's nothing wrong there, eh? Honestly, in terms of what you wanted to see, that was it. Just Long Me was happy. The thing about this game, though, is how do you back it up for next week? Obviously, again, wins, losses don't matter here. What's the effort? Why do you bring it in? To be truly dominant, though, to be fair, we need to beat them again. I get it's just a scratch match, but still, we need to. End of. Right? And then, obviously, we got Adelaide, St Kilda, so on and so forth. And I'm looking forward to that round 1 game over at Adelaide Oval. And I cannot wait for us to meet the Crows and dismantle them, stuff them. But in saying that, this has been Don't Argue. Hope you guys well. Take it easy. And yeah, just remember, don't argue.